All right, Nick, let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks. This team looking really exciting, but one last second move for the Seattle Seahawks looks like it could have set them up pretty good down the stretch depth wise on the defensive line. I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, Seattle Seahawks making a last-minute move right before Sunday, getting set up for the season. I think this is a move that could set them up well down the stretch. Let's get on to the article and we can talk more about it on the other side. This is over on SI.com. It says, continuing to shuffle the practice squad with preparation for the season opener well underway, the Seattle Seahawks announced the signing of defensive tackle Quinton Bohanna to their practice squad on Wednesday. Previously a sixth-round pick out of Kentucky, Bohanna was bounced around in his 3+ NFL seasons, spending time with the Cowboys, Lions, and most recently the Titans, who released him last month as part of the final roster cuts. The 6'4", 337-pound nose tackle has suited up for 27 regular season games, producing 39 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and a QB hit in a reserve role, with most of that action coming in Dallas, where he played for current Seattle defensive coordinator Aiden Durde. I think this is a pretty good signing by Seattle, Nick. Obviously, Durde familiar with Bohanna. I think that's a really great sign for them. Curious what your thoughts on all of this are. But before we get to you, Seahawks fans, in the comment section below, we are just literally days away from the start of the season. The start of the season will be one day after this video. The start of your season will be this coming weekend. So very little time left to let us know. What are your thoughts on the win-loss predictions for Seattle this coming season? I think it's going to be a good one for them. So let us know what your thoughts are, though, on their win-loss total for this year in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what are your thoughts on this move for Seattle?
I love this move. I think it's a massive steal for the Seattle Seahawks. And look, we're obviously getting some context here is important, right? This is a practice squad guy that would be elevated before a game to fit a certain need, maybe a key matchup and things like that. And I think it's really important to understand that when you got to look at the Seattle Seahawks situation, they've got nose tackle Jonathan Hankins, who I think is a great addition this offseason. He is strictly a run stuffer. They've got Young, who's injured. He's on the PUP list. So Hankins, guy comes in to stuff the run. Seattle Seahawks finished 23rd against the run last year. The problem with Hankins, he's on the wrong side of 30. He missed a number of games last year. He's missed a number of games throughout his career. You need some depth there. You need someone you can trust to stuff the run. And this is a guy here in Bohanna who's done that throughout his NFL career. I think he's an underrated run stuffer. The problem with him and the reason he keeps getting cut and kind of bounces around a little bit is that's basically all he can do at this point in his career, right? He's not going to rush the passer very well at all. He's not going to be just a dynamic force, but he can play in the run, interior defensive line, still at a high level. And that's exactly what the Seahawks are going to need him to do if and probably when, to be totally honest, Hankins misses some time due to injury. And look, the Seattle Seahawks, they're in a very tough situation because, again, the injuries to Young, and you consider the matchups that they face with run-heavy teams. Look at the 49ers, of course. Look at Sean McVay and the Rams, of course. You're going to need run stuffers, right? If you can't stop the run in that division, it is going to be incredibly difficult. Hankins is the guy, he's the primary guy, I should say, to solve that problem from an interior perspective, but you need a backup. You need a guy who can come in there and step up if Hankins cannot play, and I think Bohanna is a perfect addition to do that. I think this is the perfect marriage of need versus availability versus cost. It's costing the Seattle Seahawks essentially nothing. Experienced veteran, a guy who started a lot of games, good quality team guy, rave reviews pretty much everywhere he's went. I saw him with the Dallas Cowboys a lot. I think he did a really nice job back during those years. I think he's a guy that can come in and fill a key need for the Seattle Seahawks, adding some much needed depth, especially considering their tough matchups they're going to face trying to defend the run this upcoming season. I love this move by Seattle.
Yeah, Nick, and I think we've got some numbers, to back up what is going on with the signing for Bohanna. As you said, Jonathan Hankins, he's a guy, he does a lot of really good things, but like you said, he's getting a little bit older. This is a guy that we all know. Age creeps up there, injury concerns are always on the forefront, but we look at Bohanna, what he's able to do last year, and over 113 snaps last year. This guy was a pretty decent run defender. He was not spectacular at anything outside of that, like you alluded to, but a 65 grade for run defense, that's pretty good. That's like almost acceptable as a starter, not a backup. So a 65 TFF grade in run defense, I think that's a pretty good, option for Seattle. I think this is, it's honestly better than what Jonathan Hankins was able to produce last year. But Hankins has a longer career. He has more, upside as far as his pass rush grade and other things like that. But this is a guy that I think in Bohanna comes in as that run defense specialist, as you said. This is a guy that can be used situationally. I think this is just a really, really smart move. And not only does Aiden Durd know this guy, and not only does Aiden Durd know defensive line play, Mike McDonald does as well. And I think he's the key. I think I've seen him in Baltimore see so many underutilized, looked at defensive line talents, bring them onto the roster, and they make them stars. They're the kings in Baltimore at the time under Mike McDonald of making guys whose careers look washed, getting them out there, getting second life into there. So anything that this team does at the defensive line position, I am wholeheartedly behind. I think this is going to be a really smart move for Seattle going forward.
And just one final point to end on, anyone who's balking and concerned about that mid-60s grade, Bohanna, in terms of his PFF grade and run defense last year, the Seattle Seahawks as a team graded out around 59 in the run defense grade. So Bohanna just showing up makes the Seattle Seahawks defense, if and when he suits up, better than they were last year. So I know that number 65 may concern a lot of people, but look, he's automatically an upgrade of where they were on average last year at that position, while also providing critical depth. Again, great move by the Seattle Seahawks.